It's play. It's just play. It's not serious work. We were never meant to live our life seriously. People have gone from having Homo erectus to Homo question mark. Everyone's sitting like this and looking at their phone, and then they show up as question marks. That body doesn't have the energy flow that we're talking about. Is it sustainable? How long can you last that? Can you live past 80 years like that? What has happened today is we have been exposed so much into the artificial world that we've lost the essence of our own integrity, our own respect.
Namaste. I had this question for you.
Namaskaram.
Namaste. What unseen obstacles people get when they go after their goals?
Well, when someone sets up a goal, the first thing that they need is their body. If you want to run a marathon, say if you want to run a marathon, that's your goal. You need a body that can run. You need to train the body. Say if you want to be a CEO of a large organization in today's times, you need a sound, vibrant body and a charismatic body to be able to achieve that. Naturally, this becomes an obstacle if you don't have the very basic of a healthy body, a sound body that can actually take you to success. So this is one of the most important obstacles that people come across, where they don't have the basics of, and then they go into dropping into this self-sabotage mode of, I don't have the health, I don't have the body, I don't have the vitality to achieve my goals. The second thing is the mindset. If you have a goal, then you'll train. Like the guy who has a goal to become a marathon racer or a marathon winner, even to just run the marathon, he has a clear goal, which means he or she starts training. That's pretty much what is an obstacle to reach the goals.
So when we talk to a lot of people who are trying to achieve a goal, say whether it's a financial goal or whether it's any other life goal like healing their relationships or fixing their health, many of them say that they face one of these obstacles, which is procrastination and lack of motivation. So how can they overcome these obstacles?
Energy. Everybody needs energy to do anything in life, whether it's to have a sound relationship, whether it's to have a successful career, whether it's to achieve their goals or to strive for something greater than what they're doing. They need energy. And how is energy produced? Prana. Prana translates to life force energy. There are only two ways you can build prana. One is through the air that we breathe and the food that we eat, and the other one is to train this body, train this vessel to generate and cultivate energy. And when you don't have that, then naturally you will not have the motivation and the inspiration to achieve the things that you want to achieve in life. And this currently is jeopardized in the modern society because we have too many distractions. The EMF that we are surrounded by, the media, the social media that we're surrounded by, people have gone from having Homo erectus to Homo question mark. Everyone's sitting like this and looking at their phone, and then they show up as question mark. So then that body doesn't have the energy flow that we're talking about. It doesn't have that life force energy that's vibrating in that body. Naturally, that body will not feel motivated to wake up early and do a practice. Naturally, that body will not wake up early to watch the sunrise. It will naturally not be in alignment with the circadian rhythm. And this is today's problem.
So a lot of people think that they can go to a gym and fix all these problems. So is this a valid solution for them?
Going to the gym is great. It's better than doing nothing. If you're someone who go to the gym, fantastic. Good on you. But what we don't realize is the understanding of what we do in the gym. Everyone wants to have a six-pack and have big muscles and show up as Arnold Schwarzenegger or Hrithik Roshan. It's not going to happen when you don't train for years. They trained for years, decades before they got that. Eating the right meal, having the right diet, having the right set of exercises, having the right atmosphere, having the right coaches to train them. Mentors. So when people go to the gym, I get students who come from the gym to learn the art that I teach. And they're stiff, so stiff that they can't even put their arms together and do this because their muscles don't allow them. And because they're so stiff, they don't have any mobility. They can't do a single squat. So they've built all this muscle by pulling weight, but they have not trained their body. They've not trained their ligaments. They've not trained their connecting tissues, tendons to work efficiently. Now, you don't need a six pack and big muscles to go and do a regular job. No one's going out to war outside here. The way the war that our ancestors fought is very different to the war that we fight today. We send rockets and missiles. The person who's pushing the button who sends the rockets out is nowhere as close as fit that he's supposed to be as a warrior. You don't call them warriors, you call them button pushers. So going to the gym is fantastic because you have some activity rather than no activity, but the emphasis here is you need to train your body, you need to train your mind of what you're going to achieve with this body, and you're going to train your spirit so that you're integrated from a spirit perspective and not just a physical perspective, and be unflexible. You got to stay flexy, man. You got to stay flexy. Then life becomes beautiful. Life becomes flexible. There is no problem that you can't face. Everything becomes relevant and smooth and flowing when you flow with life, when you flow with the energy that you build within. And that's the difference that you don't get in a gym. Someone who's going to a gym comes out rigid. Someone who trains with an ancient warrior practice comes with a lot of respect, integrity, and flow. They're always in tune with the divinity within them.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
So I had a follow-up question about gyms. Most of the gyms, people when they work out, they're indoor gyms, right? And so they are also getting exposed to a lot of EMF and a lot of loud music and
artificial light.
artificial light. So
Yeah.
do these factors also matter?
It's traumatizing. Is this a condition that you would go to bed in? Is this a condition that you would sit and meditate? Is this a condition that you would eat your meal? Then how does it become an okay condition to thrash loud music sitting in bright white light when there's sun for free and you pay a membership fee of how many ever thousands of rupees, dollars, to actually do more damage to your being, to your microbiome? You're building muscle. Yes, I'm not disagreeing with that. Your body will look fantastic. I'm not disagreeing with that. Your protein shakes will make you buffed up. I'm not disagreeing with that. But is it sustainable? How long can you last that? How long can you really last that? Is it really truly sustainable? Can you live past 80 years like that? The only way you can do that is by loading hundreds of supplements, having artificial food like protein shakes, and some sort of surgical procedures to keep you that way. Naturally, it's not even possible. If you truly need to have a natural body, a sustainable body, stick to the natural elements of the world. Expose yourself to the sun, expose yourself to the wind, expose yourself to the rain, expose yourself to the earth. Light a fire, get warmth from the fire, look into the fire, see the colors of the fire, look into the sunrise, see the colors of the sunrise. It keeps your eyes bright and sharp. You don't need to be wearing glasses if you just look at the sunrise. There's a whole lesson on eye therapy where you can sun gazing, you can gaze into the sun and heal your eyesight and reverse your eyesight to a natural, sharp eyesight. That's just for the eyes, right? Then imagine everything else it does to the body. Every single cell in your body starts lighting up when you are exposed to natural elements of the world. When the same body is exposed to the artificial elements of the world of EMF, this non-native electromagnetic frequency, you're damaging your body. Your neural system gets damaged. The light, the artificial light, makes you think that you're constantly at the 12 o'clock sunlight, and it keeps you active and kicking up your adrenaline, releasing so much cortisol that it thinks that you're at at the peak of your, and you're keeping it like that the whole day. And people who do night shifts the whole night as well. The late sleepers, they keep that light on through your phones, through your devices, through television, through offices filled with white light. I think at some point people will realize this. There's so much research out there. People will realize there's so much damage to the human being that we are deteriorating very quickly. The way we think and work is not the same anymore. We're not as sharp as we used to be. We're not as resilient as we're supposed to be. We're not as strong as we can be. We don't repair fast. This body repairs really fast. 5 weeks ago, I had a hip fracture. I fell off a ship onto the main deck, cracked my hip in 2 places. And here I am sitting and doing a podcast. And between that, I've traveled to the Himalayas. I've swam in the Ganges. I've traveled half across the continent, half across the world. So much has happened. Why? Because this body is a sound, resilient body. Purely, I thank my teachers. I thank Grace for introducing me to an ancient healing warrior art that helps me keep this body sound. If I was to be any other way, I don't think I would be sitting here and giving this podcast right now.
How can people overcome their energy issues? Because a lot of times they have the intention and the motivation to get things done, but they find themselves crashing again and again throughout the day. And they find themselves, eating just to keep their energy levels up, and then taking naps throughout the day just to keep their energy levels up. So what can they do to overcome these issues?
Good question. It's a very common thing that a lot of people come to me with, and it's something that's common that we see in society. And then when you just look back into the history, our grandparents were never like that. Our grandparents had all this energy, and they didn't even have the technology that we have today. If they said they're going to meet at 4 o'clock in the evening, they don't have a watch, they don't have a phone or any sort of device to come and meet. They had punctuality. They had integrity. They had respect for each other's time. They respected time. What has happened today is we have been exposed so much into the artificial world that we've lost the essence of our own integrity, our own respect. Integrity to self here. Only when one is integral to the self, then they can be integral to the other. When one shows respect to self, they can know how to show respect to the other. All that is slowed down because the very matrix, the very synthesis that makes life has been tampered with. So we are not flowing in the natural rhythm anymore. How can we repair this? You need a practice like the healing warrior tribe. A practice that is as ancient as our ancestors and even more, a practice that came from the gods. A practice that has embedded the secrets of how to heal, repair the body. How to vitalize the body, how to keep the body flowing with constantly building and cultivating energy. That is the solution. It is the solution to the modern day. It is the solution to the modern seeker, the modern warrior. The war is not outside, the war is inside. With all the diseases, the fatigue issues, the tiredness, the lack of concentration, the ability to not be able to create something. We're living a life lower than the status of an animal. We are creators. Why are we not creating? We somehow become sheep and we're just becoming followers. 9-to-5 jobs. Weekend, we're repairing. We go to the pub, we go to the club. We put more pressure on our body, and then 2 years, 6 years from then, we've got diabetes, high blood pressure. It's a choice. We can change it. Just by showing up. Just by showing up to a tribe that does an ancient warrior practice, you can reverse all of this. What inspired me, Raj, to be the man I am today is my father. My father had his first stroke when he was 35 years old. His second stroke was at 45. His third stroke was at 50, 54. And the last stroke, which was at 60, took his life away. 6 major brain surgeries. And he made it alive. He lasted for 3 months. He was completely paraplegic. I was carrying him on my back. And then I realized when I was carrying him on my back to take him out to the garden, to take him out to the earth, to put his feet that was unable to stand anymore. I planted his feet on the earth, and I was holding him on my back in the sun so that he could get some sunshine into him. He could get some grounding into him. You know what the doctor said after 6 brain surgeries and taking lakhs and lakhs, hundreds of thousands of rupees and dollars? They said this man will never be able to go home. He will be bedridden in a hospital. He defied that truth. I took him home. They said this man will never be able to be on a wheelchair. He will always be in bed and everything will happen in bed. He jumped on a wheelchair. He moved. They said he'll never be able to set foot back on his feet again. He stood on earth and looked into the sun. And that's the most enjoyable moments he had in his last days of his life. When he passed away, I decided that no one should go through ill health. No one should go through that amount of pain. So I started training with all the knowledge that I've been given by my ancestors and my teachers. And I started sharing the practices that I cracked codes of every single thing that I defied. I'm 45 and I have the energy of a 20-year-old. And I don't see anything coming close to me. Yes, I do fall. Yes, I do break bones. But I repair fast. Because I'm a warrior. I'm a warrior. And I repair fast. Why do I repair fast? Because I have discipline to a practice that helps my body glow, helps my body shine, helps my body be vibrant with high vitality. That's why. And I don't spend much time. I spend 1 hour a day, every single day. The days I have more time, I spend 2 hours just for fun. It's play. It's just play. It's not serious work. We were never meant to live our life seriously. It's all that seriousness that my dad's life went into that. He was so stressed about making money. He was so stressed about winning his business. He was so stressed about feeding the family. He was so stressed about making sure that his kids were educated. He did all that. But then he never got to live his life. We take birth as a human being so that we can live a fulfilling, joyful life in service of all beings in this planet. We play a very vital part in this ecosystem. And if we don't show up as that, as a human being who's vital, then what part are we playing in this ecosystem? There is no ecosystem without us. Climate change, half the forest has been destroyed, or more than half the forest in the world has been destroyed. Because we're not thinking clearly. We don't see what is going to happen if all this happens. And in 100 years, what will be the history of this planet? We might have to move to planet Mars, like what Elon Musk is doing. He's already foreseeing this stuff.
So what's the solution to this problem that you just mentioned towards the end about climate change and people not integrating with their environment? So what should they do?
I am part of a solution. I am part of that solution. I'm one single person in this planet. I'm very conscious and aware of my environment, my surroundings, and what I consume. And when I have learned to do that, my tribe, the Healing Warrior tribe, Happy Buddha tribe, they are all conscious beings because we inspire one another to be better than what we were yesterday. We are conscious and aware of our surroundings. We are conscious and aware of other beings. We are conscious to know that we can't sustain ourselves by ourselves in this planet. If it was only to be human beings in this planet, there will be no planet. Even an ant plays an important role in the ecosystem. The bees play a very important role in the ecosystem. The solution is to become aware. is to become conscious as to who you are, where you are, who you're with, and what you are doing. And what you're doing and creating together as a community, as a tribe. To have that inspiration, have that energy, you need to build the energy from within. This is a very amazing, supernatural, advanced technology, this body. It's waterproof, it's rainproof, it's sunproof, it heals, it self heals. It does some magical things, provided you know where your thoughts go, your energy flows. Provided you have the right thoughts, you have clarity in mind, this body functions in its most optimal way. And when it's functioning in its most optimal way, you start seeing the bigger picture. You start seeing the bigger aspect. You're not that person who's doing a 9 to 5 job and all you care about is paying your bills and stick to your four walls and stay indoors and watch telly, go to bed feeling miserable, waking up and doing the same thing on repeat over and over and over and over again for 50 odd years, and you die. Don't even have an understanding of where you took birth in, which planet you came to, and what being you took birth as in this form. The most advanced form of all beings is a human being, but we don't behave in any which ways like that. Why? Lack of ignorance, pure ignorance. Ignorance can be healed through knowledge. And how do we get knowledge? Find a mentor, find a teacher. If you search, the teacher will find you.
Uh, why do people undergo imposter syndrome and how can they overcome it?
What is imposter syndrome? Imposter syndrome is having a knowledge gap when you don't have the absolute knowledge of doing what you're doing, and you tend to think that you can do the job. For example, the Prime Minister of New Zealand, she claimed in social media, like in public, in media, that she has imposter syndrome. All she had to do was to go and learn the skills that needed to fill the gap of what she was missing out. Rather than faking to herself, it's lying to oneself. That's all it is. It's lying to oneself. So if she had the right coach, the right mentor, the right teacher, the right support, she would have been told that all she needed to do was to go learn these skills, practice them, and come back with that experience, and that's it. That would have closed that imposter syndrome for life. And this starts at a very early age. This starts at school. Imposter syndrome starts at school. I used to have imposter syndrome when I was in school. I'm dyslexic, so I used to struggle to read. For me, everything is a print. I read back to front. If you give me a book, I read from the back to front. But my teachers did not like that. They did not understand how my brain works, how my brain is wired. And I'm really young. I'm talking about 5, 6, 7-year-old kid. I had to fake it. I had to fake that I could read. So I learned to read by seeing the prints and memorizing what these prints meant as words. Till today, I still struggle to read. But I've overcome. I know what I have, and I've overcome it by learning to see the print, read it again twice, and understand what that actually means. And I owe it. I own my dyslexic nature. As a 7-year-old, I was hiding it. And when I had to read in public, on a stage in front of the school, I would shiver. I would sweat. I would pass out of fear. And why was there fear? Because I didn't have that skill to learn to read. It took me many decades from then to understand myself, and I had to teach myself how to read without getting into the traps of not being an imposter. School did not teach me that. My teachers did not teach me that. Teachers from school, I mean. My spiritual teachers taught me that I am much more than what I think I don't know. And that helped me to improve myself. So it can be healed. Nobody needs to be an imposter. An imposter is on. No, the syndrome of being an imposter is only there because you're lying to yourself. You don't want to face the truth within yourself. You don't want to see your actual true self. You don't want to be seeing into a mirror. And when that happens, you are never going to upskill from there. You continue to be an imposter, and it's hiding from life. It's never free. You don't feel free living your life. It's a hard one because I've been there as a kid myself, so it's a hard one. But it doesn't have to be hard. It can become so much better and easier and lighter just by choosing to learn and fill the knowledge gap.
Would Healing Warrior Tribe help people in overcoming imposter syndrome?
Absolutely. All you have to do is show up. The tribe is so vibrant and full of energy that you can't feel anything different than get better. And everyone has different things that they've challenges they've gone through, so everyone supports each other. It's a community of people who support one another regardless of their background and what their story is. We are here to grow. We are here to become warriors. We're here to be healers.
How can people overcome fear of failure?
Hmm. Fear of failure is very similar to imposter syndrome. The word fear can be translated to lack of skill gap. Ask. Ask is a key word that I would like to throw here. A for attitude. Your attitude matters. How your attitude towards life. S for skill gap. Close the skill gap by learning the skill that you're short of. If you don't know, ask the people that you're inspired by. If you're inspired by someone and you follow them, reach out to them and ask them, I have this shortage in skill. How can I gap this skill by learning? What is that I'm supposed to learn to gap the skill? Close the gap in the skill. What is that I'm supposed to be learning to close the gap in the skill? K being knowledge. The knowledge is power. And when the power is used correctly, you strive for success. And knowledge can be learned. We are only born in this planet so that we can learn the knowledge of how to be in union with this body, with this planet, with this cosmos, with this universe. Our entire life, all we have to learn, just the one thing, this is written in the Vedas, to learn about the body's function, one's own body. When we learn about one's own body's function, you learn about the entire universe. What's within the body, the knowledge and the secrets and the science and the wisdom that's locked within the body, is the same concept as what is hidden within the cosmos, the secrets within the cosmos. Ask.
How can people overcome decision fatigue, which is basically they feel they have so many decisions to take in their day that they don't really have the energy to take decisions that actually truly matter, life-changing decisions.
Hmm.
So how can they overcome this obstacle?
Decision fatigue is only there because there is lack of energy in the body. The brain is full of neurons and it has to fire. It's like fireworks inside the brain, inside the skull, it's fireworks. It has to shoot electricity. And when that electricity between the right hemisphere and the left hemisphere is not firing up properly, one does not have that clarity, does not have that sharpness to see what is the choice he needs to make, what is the choice she needs to make, decisions that she needs to make. How do you overcome this? First, by understanding that they have this brain that's not firing properly, the electricity in the body is not firing properly. Then it's about knowing what is the knowledge that they need to gain to be able to repair this. What is the damage? So the first thing is to see all the damages that they've got around. EMF, electrical waves, sound waves, microwaves, radioactive waves. I have a cousin who works, she's really young, she's only 20 something years old, and she works in the radiology department. She did 5 years of study for that. And her health has only declined from the day she started studying radiology because of all the radioactive waves. They do take precaution and protection and all that stuff, but her 9 to 5 job is in radiation, radiating other people. Scary. And this is a young human being, very vibrant young human being, very smart, intelligent young human being. And she's slowly decaying from the inside because of this radioactive workspace that she's working in. In 10 years' time, she will not be able to make that decision as she was making 5 years ago, or even now, because the electricity in the brain is hampered by the waves around, the electromagnetic radioactive waves around us. How do we overcome this? Practice. A practice that understands the body's science, the innate wisdom and the intelligence of the body, and tunes into that body to bring it to a cosmic level, so it's a self-healing mechanism. So when you're exposing yourself to something, it can repair faster than you're exposing it. That's what warriors had. Our warriors had a body that repairs so fast that they can go out there and get injured, but they repair faster than they're getting injured. So they get injured and they repair so fast that they can go back the next day and fight again. Like I said, the fight is not external, the fight is internal, because we are fighting a war that we can't see. Blue light, EMF, unhealthy food, preservative, glyphosate, fluoride in the water. It's never ending. The only way we can sustain ourselves in this time, in this yuga, in this period of life, is by training this body to become invincible. By a practice that heals the body from within. That's where the healing comes from. A practice that heals the body within. The warrior is what makes out of your attitude. What you make out of your healing is what you become a warrior.
How can people overcome isolation and loneliness? We see a lot of coaches also talk about is that if you have a big goal, say you want to start a business or you want to change something in the world, especially in the initial few years, you will experience a lot of isolation and loneliness because people won't understand what you're planning to do, what you're trying to do. So this becomes a big obstacle for many people, especially people who want that social connection. So what can they do to overcome this obstacle?
Isolation and loneliness only exist because you don't have a tribe. And who's the reason to isolate? Yourself. The cause of loneliness is oneself. How can you be lonely when you're surrounded by 9 billion people in this planet? I'm running away trying to find a little bit of space to meditate in the forest. And I can still hear someone from a furthest distance honking their truck. How can you be lonely when you are surrounded by so many millions of people, billions of people? How can you be lonely when there is so much nature that surrounds us? It's a choice. We lock ourselves into a box and say we are lonely. You know why? Because we feel high. We feel high in the fake dopamine and serotonin that we create when we are in lower consciousness, in the lower emotions of the consciousness. It feels good to be bad. It feels really good to be sad. It's not sustainable. It'll cost you your health. How do you overcome loneliness and what's the other one?
Uh,
Loneliness and
Isolation.
isolation. How do you overcome loneliness and isolation? Get off your shell, man. Find a tribe that resonates you. Find an art that vibes with you. Align with something that interests you. Bring out the best in you. Bring out the creative side of you. You are a being of creativity. That's all we are. Bring that out. Get inspired. Stop scrolling your phone. Stop scrolling your phone, no? For 5 hours, keep scrolling your phone. I feel so sad because the only thing the algorithm is picking up is all the things that you like watching, and it keeps feeding you day after day, hours and hours and hours of content that makes you feel sad and lonely and depressed and anxious, and you're feeling high and so high that you have to be admitted in the hospital because your serotonin levels have crashed. Now you're not feeling that great. The The liver is damaged, the spleen is damaged, the kidneys are not working, you're in dialysis, and you're only about 25 years old. Why? It's a choice, right? Hey, if you want to change your life and you're in this place, reach out. Just message us, reply to this mail, reply to this podcast, reply to this podcast, and we'll show you how to be part of a tribe. We'll give you a practice that you'll never ever look back at this day and feel depressed and low, and I promise you, you'll never feel lonely. We are such a vibrant tribe. We're always communicating about what's the next things we are creating, how is that we're feeling, how is this practice, how our brain is functioning, how is that our hemisphere, some things that we've never experienced before we're experiencing. Because all the intelligence in the body is it's awakening. The wisdom of this body, the innate wisdom of this body is awakening. So you start feeling amazing. You start feeling like a divine being, a God. The one that you came here to be. Not the one that's hiding in the blankets of ignorance and watching Netflix, scrolling phones, eating junk, drinking soda, sugary stuff. Make a choice. Join us.
Arumugan Siddhar, I have one final question to ask you. Can you please explain who is a warrior and what are the qualities of a warrior?
Good question. Thank you, Raj. A warrior is a problem solver. Someone who's disciplined, someone who's resilient, has patience, is kind, compassionate, yet vigilant. A warrior has a sound body, a strong body, a sharp mind, and has the compassion and empathy of a divine being. The reason why a warrior has all these qualities and attributes is because he trains. He trains every day to be of service to all beings. A warrior attitude is about solving the day-to-day problems. Someone who's in the household is a warrior. A homemaker is a warrior. Someone who goes to work in an office is a warrior. Someone who runs this country is a warrior. Someone who's traveling around the world is a warrior. If you go back into history and look at our ancestry, warriors were all householders. They were also healers. Someone who was a housewife, cooking meals for their family and looking after and nurturing their family members and being a provider would train to have the strength and the courage and the resilience to do their work. If there was danger in the village or in the town, they would pick their weapons and go. Whether it's a threat from an external source, an army marching in, they would pick up their weapons and go. Their weapons could be as simple as a kitchen knife. Could be as simple as these things behind us. A karlakate, a padikarle. A padikarle comes out of something that's used to measure wheat or rice. That becomes their weapon because they're trained in that. It's close combat. Someone who's a farmer is trained to go to war and also be a farmer. And by just training to be that being, they're in duality. Their integrated being is powerful enough to be humble, be simple, be modest, and do their day-to-day chores. And when there is a need and there is an attack or a threat, they're prepared for war, to defend themselves, to protect their people, to protect their community. Warriors don't run. Warriors don't hide. Warriors thrive. The war here right now is inside, internal war. It's the diseases that we face. And the same pattern, the same concept of how our ancestors trained and kept themselves fit and in congruence to everything that was surrounding them, in awareness of what was happening in the nearby villages, in the nearby towns, in the nearby cities, they knew because their mind is expansive, their aura is expansive. And if we tune into that element of training the body and training the mind, we will have this optimal warrior strength and health within us. We embody this warrior state in us. Because you're not going out to fight the war, you're preparing yourself to defend yourself from the external wars. The chemicals, the lies, the brainwash. Right now, there's war in Ukraine, there's war in Palestine. If these people, the householders, instead of fleeing their motherland, if they were trained to fight, they would combat. But we've lost that touch. It's been centuries since we've lost the touch of our warriorhood. It's time to awaken this. Otherwise, we as a human species will disappear and dissolve. We'll just disappear.
Thank you. Thank you, Armugan Sudhir, for the insights.
Thank you, Raj. Appreciate your question.
Any final words that you would like to say to people?
Absolutely. Come join us. Be merry, become part of the tribe. Learn. We have so many secret practices that I share. I'm not allowed to disclose it out here in camera. And that's the promise I had made to my teachers. But I can tell you, your life would not be the same again. Your health would multiply into being the most amazing health you've ever had. It doesn't matter where you are, at what age you are, and what your problems are. There is a way to come out of this. All you need to do is to show up. If you want to join the Healing Warrior Tribe, comment below or reach out to us. We'd love to have you and see you there. Thank you. Om Namah Shivaya. Thank you.